Hi Wildcats, it's Miss Dominguez again with another story time. And today I'm going to read On Beyond Zebra by Dr. Seuss. And of course, Delilah's here with me. You say hello? You say, she's sleeping. You're not going to say hello? Sorry, she's sleeping. She's always sleeping. All right, On Beyond Zebra. Said Comrade Cornelius O'Donnell Odell, my very young friend who is learning to spell. The A is for ape, and the B is for bear. The C is for camel, the H is for hare. This M is for mouse, and the R is for rat. I know all the 26 letters like that. Through to Z is for zebra. I know them all well, said Comrade Cornelius O'Donnell Odell. So now I know everything anyone knows, from beginning to end, from the start to the close, because Z is as far as the alphabet goes. Then he almost fell flat on his face on the floor when I picked up the chalk and drew one letter more. A letter he'd never had dreamed of before. And I said, you can stop if you want with the Z, because most people stop with the Z, but not me. In the places I go, there are things that I see that I never could spell if I stopped with the Z. I'm telling you this because you're one of my friends. My alphabet starts where your alphabet ends. My alphabet starts with a letter called Yuz. It's the letter I use to spell Yazamatuz. You'll be sort of surprised what there is to be found once you go beyond Z and start poking around. Oh my. It's pretty fuzzy. So on beyond zebra, explore like Columbus, discover new letters, like one is for wumbus. My high-spouting whale who lives high on a hill and who never comes down till it's time to refill. So on beyond Z, it's high time you were shown that you really don't know all there is to be known. I think this friend likes to explore and find out new things. Then just step a step further past one is the wumbus, and there you'll find and the is for umbus, a sort of a cow with one head and one tail. But to milk this great cow, you need more than one pail. She has 98 faucets that give milk quite nicely. Perhaps 99, I forgot just precisely. And boy, she is something most people don't see, because most people stop at the Z, but not me. So if you don't stop exploring, think of what you could find out there. You could find something brand new that nobody's ever seen before. I ramble, I scramble through swamps and through swamps, where the letters get better like letters like oomph. There's a really handy letter. What's handy about it? You just can't spell humph, humph, a dumper without it. If you stay home with zebra, you're stuck in a rut. But on beyond zebra, you're anything but. Why, I know a fine fancy letter called fuddle. I use it in spelling Miss Fuddle-dee-Duddle. And oh, what a bird of a bird of a bird of. Her tail is the longest that's ever been heard of. So long and so fancy, she'd be in a fix if she didn't have helpers. It takes about 6 to tag along hoisting Miss Fuddly-Duddle's wonderful tail out of the muddly puddles. Goodness, she has a long tail. Delilah, are you listening? Delilah. And Glick is for Glicker, who lives in wild weeds and spends his time juggling for cinnamon seeds, which he's usually able to find in great number, excepting, of course, in the month of September, when cinnamon seeds aren't around in great number. So that month he juggles with seeds of cucumber. Well, that makes sense. Oh, he's little. There he is, juggling the seeds. And na is the letter I use to spell nutches, who live in small caves known as niches for hutches. These nutches have troubles, the biggest of which is the fact that there are many more nutches than niches. Each nutch in a niche knows that some other nutch would like to move into his niche very much. So each nutch in a niche has to watch that small niche, or nutches who haven't got niches will snitch. My goodness, that was a tongue twister for me. Then we go on to snee, and the snee is for sneedle, a terrible kind of ferocious mosquito, whose humdinger stinger is sharp as a needle. The sneedle's too tough to be killed with a smack, so he has to be hunted on elephant back. And your eyes in the elephants have to be keen, and you have to aim fast, and you have to hit clean, and the bullet you shoot is a stale navy bean that you've dunked for 3 weeks in old sour kerosene, which is awfully hard work. So it's easy to see why most people stop at the Z, but not me. When you go beyond Z, who knows? There's no telling what wonderful things you might find yourself spelling. Like Quan is for quandary, who lives on a shelf in a hole in the ocean alone by himself. And he worries each day from the dawn's early light, and he worries, just worries, far into the night. He just stands there and worries. He simply can't stop. Is his top side his bottom, or his bottom side top? I guess that's him down there in the ocean worrying. And Thnad is for Thnanders. And oh, are they sad, oh. The big one you see has a smaller one's shadow. The shadow, the small Thnander, should be his. I don't understand it, but that's how it is. A terrible mix-up in shadows. Gee whiz. Oh, I see. And spaz is a letter I used to spell spasm, a beast who belongs to the nasm of basm. Handy for traveling, that's where he has him. More easy to pack than a suitcase or grip. Those horns carry all that he needs on a trip. A thread and a needle for mending his socks, his toothbrush, a cup, and 2 3-handed clocks. And his velvet umbrella, his vegetable chopper, and also his gold-plated popping corn popper, and a grasshopper cage for his favorite grasshopper. Oh, he travels with a lot. And floob is for floob boober bab boober bubs, who bounce in the water like blubbery tubs. They're no good to eat, you can't cook 'em like steaks, but they're handy in crossing small oceans and lakes. I guess they kind of look like octopus or something, maybe jellyfish type creatures. And Zats is the letter I used to spell Zatsit, whose nose is so high that most nobody pats it, and patting his lonely old nose is the least that a fellow could do for this fine friendly beast. So to get there and do it, I built an invention, the 3-seater Zatsit nose patting extension. If you try to drive one, you'll certainly see why most people stop at the Z, but not me. Wow, that's a very tall creature. And jog is my letter for spelling jogoons, who doodle around in the far desert dunes. Just doodle around, crooning very sad tunes about peppermint, peanuts, and pebbles and prunes, and pink pots and polka dots, pinheads and pigs, and their grandmothers, grandfathers, stepsisters' wigs. You see, there's no end to the things you might know, depending on how far beyond zebra you go. It's a whole new world I never knew about. I have a letter called Flun, and the Flun is for Flunnel, a softish nice fellow who hides in a tunnel. He only comes out of his hole, I'm afraid, when the right kind of softish nice music is played, on a kind of hunting horn called the ogrunth, and to learn how to play it takes month after month. A practicing isn't much fun, and besides, it's quite heavy, weighs almost a tonneth. That's why few people bother to play the ogrunth. So the Flunnel's been out of his tunnel just once. My goodness. That was a lot of sounds. It was hard for me to say. And way, way past Z is a letter called itch. And the itch is for the itchapods, animals which race around back and forth and back through the air on a very high sidewalk between here and there. They're afraid to stay there. They're afraid to stay here. They think there is too far. They think here is too near. And since here is too near and out there is too far, they are too scared to roost wheresoever they are. Oh my. They're very confused, back and forth, back and forth. There's a letter called Yeek, and the Yeek is for Yiko, who howls in an underground grotto in Kiko. The Yikos love echoes, and this is their motto: for best Yiko's echoes, try Giko, our grotto. That one was hard too. I chose a really tongue-twistery book, didn't I? Oh, the things you can find if you don't stay behind. On a world near the sun live two brothers called Vrooms, who strangely enough are built sort of like brooms, and they're stuck all alone up there high in the blue. And so, to kill time just for something to do, each of these fellows takes turns with the other in sweeping the dust off his world with his brother. They really do look like brooms. Interesting. And hi is my letter for High Gargle Orum, for getting me places real fast. I'm all for 'em. They puffle along and their brakes never squeak, and they run every hour, every day of the week. From the town of North Nug to the town of East Ounce, making stops at West Bunglefield, Yupster, and Jounce, and at Ipswich and Nipswich, and also South Bounce, and another small town that's too hard to pronounce. I can't imagine what the hard one to pronounce is, because those were harder for me. How you doing, Delilah? Oh, Delilah. The places I took him, I tried hard to tell. Young Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell, a few brand new wonderful words he might spell. I led him around and I tried hard to show there are things beyond Z that most people don't know. I took him past zebra as far as I could, and I think perhaps maybe I did him some good. Because finally he said, this is really great stuff, and I guess the old alphabet isn't enough. Now the letters he uses are something to see. Most people still stop at the Z, but not he. Oh my goodness. There it is. List of letters for people who stop at Z. Oh my goodness. It has all the different letters past Z that we talked about in the book. What do you think we should call this one anyhow? So that's another letter past Z. What would you call it? I don't know. Well, Wildcats, I'm so happy that you joined me for another story time. And I do want to say how much I miss you, how much your teachers miss you, and everyone at Andrews misses all of you. We're very proud of you for checking in, for continuing to learn, and for being real Wildcats at home. I know you're being respectful. I know you're engaging. I know you're still achieving. And I know you're being leaders in your house. So from my home, from Mrs. Dominguez-Landivar and Delilah, who's just a sleepyhead, we wish you a good night and we'll see you soon. We love you. Bye.